All right, welcome to today, a show where I pretend that I have any kind of thoughts and feelings and ideas that no one else has. Today, we're going to look into what happened yesterday, a very tragic event, the Minneapolis Catholic school shooting. It's absolutely insane. We'll start here.
The attack of a deranged gunman rocked the nation after they opened fire on a Catholic school in Minneapolis, slaughtering 2 children and injuring at least 17 others on August 27th. Robin Westman opened fire through the stained glass windows of a church at the Annunciation Catholic School before committing suicide. But who was Robin Westman? Here's what we know so far. 23-year-old Robin Westman, formerly Robert Westman, has been identified as a transgender woman from Minnesota. Westman applied to change names from Robert to Robin in Dakota County at 17 years old, according to court documents. The name change was granted in January 2020. The petition added that Westman, quote, identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification. Just hours before the cowardly massacre.
Which is fine. Yes, it is cowardly, but look, conservatives are focusing very heavily, which is their right, on the trans side of this whole thing. And yes, there has been most of the mass shootings in the last few years, at least the ones that have been reported, have been by a trans person, and it goes along with. Look, I believe that there are people out there who believe that they were born in the wrong body or whatever. Gender dysmorphia or some such. It's a very real phenomenon. I also believe that if anyone who's been on Instagram, especially white girl Instagram, sees that people fake disorders and such all the time, I think this person was very sick. I think that they, like a lot of young people, feel that they were lost and had nothing else going for them. So as a lot of people do, they pick up on whatever's popular and trendy, and the trans thing could be just an avenue to feel some kind of acceptance in that. And there's a lot of stuff out there saying that Trump is Hitler and stuff. You'll see later on. I've seen a little bit more on this, but how much vitriol's gone back and forth between the two groups. It has been heavier on one side. We can get into that later, probably not on today's show, but people need to stop seeing the other side as monsters, as Hitler, as Stalin on the other side. I think that a lot of this is caused by just high hatred for the other side on both sides. But again, it is heavier on one side than the other. It's not the same side as it used to be. That's the heavier one. But we'll get more into that after we hear what this fine gentleman has to say.
Westman posted a series of twisted videos on YouTube, which included a manifesto, Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara confirmed at a press conference. In one 20-minute video, Westman flips through a disturbing handwritten manifesto.
Hold on.
In the deranged writings, it states that Westman had been suicidal for several years, but wanted to take others out too. Westman goes on to gleefully fantasize about, quote, being that scary, horrible monster standing over those powerless kids, and inadvertently confesses admiration for the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre, as well as other mass shootings. Each page is filled with unintelligible handwritten doggerel, as well as writings in Cyrillic, which include violent ramblings such as, quote, I have had thoughts about till her 2021 retirement, according to a Facebook post by the church.
Sorry, I don't want to end
quote, maybe I could attack an event at the on-site church, which was ominously scribbled. Quote,
Bro, I appreciate it, but my content's not fire. I'm doing what a lot of people on here are doing. I appreciate you saying so. I know you got a product to sell. But my content's not fire. It's all right. I've got a decent voice for this, I guess. But just, I mean, yay for interaction in the comments, but let's not pretend that the 10 seconds I've been on here so far has been great. I've mostly just been listening and rambling.
I think attacking a large group of kids coming in from recess is my best plan. Then from there, I can go inside and kill, going for as long as I can. Westman's journal also contained copious amounts of anti-Semitic bile. Quote, if I will carry out a racially motivated attack, it would be most likely against filthy Zionist Jews. Another
And you go to a Catholic school because you hate the Jews. Clearly, this person is mentally deranged.
video posted to YouTube in the hours before the massacre showed a cache of weapons, including a semi-automatic rifle and a shotgun. Ammunition magazines were scrawled with, quote, for the children, kill Donald Trump, and 6 million wasn't enough, a reference to the number of Jewish Holocaust
6
victims.
million wasn't enough.
While the deranged
Again, and you attack a Catholic school. Yes, I understand that a lot of Christians, Catholics especially, are technically Zionists because they believe Israel should exist. But come on, man, it's like you didn't have a synagogue in your town. I'm not saying that that's right or anything. I'm just saying Jew gas. That's horrible. Extra thick. See, this person, I don't know. Like I half of me doesn't believe that any of this is real. This is what they call an orgy of evidence. This is kind of ridiculous. Like, first of all, who does this in general besides 12-year-old trolls on like Call of Duty online? But secondly, who puts this much into it just to go to the wrong style of church? That's retarded.
writings fantasize about assassinating President Trump and Jews. They also revealed a motive that
Okay, sorry, I'm pausing a lot, but look, there's a lot of people online right now, especially on like the left, on Twitch and such, saying, who's gonna do it? Look, I've got my issues with Trump. I had my issues with Biden, Obama, definitely Bush, and so on and so forth. No one should ever call for the death of anybody. No one should ever call for the death of a U.S. president. That's just facts. I understand a lot of people see him as an authoritarian. He's not. He hasn't done anything to that level yet. He's done some things I don't particularly agree with, but none of it's totalitarian. None of it's well, I mean, there's authority behind it, but it's not like authoritarian like any of the big ones in history. We're not there yet. So far, he's only kept to his. Now, whether you like the promises he kept or not, that's pretty much all he's doing. I mean, if nothing else, you got to appreciate that one president has actually tried to keep his campaign promises, whether or not you like them or not. Whereas most other presidents just say they're going to do something, and then they never do it. Same thing with Congress. Side tangent. A lot of our issues and a lot of the things that people campaign on are issues that will never be solved. They'll never be solved. Because if they do, then we don't need them anymore. We don't need the two-party system. Mazel Wisdom, hey homie, I checked your... Bro, I appreciate your hustle, again, and your commenting, but I'm going to have to pass. Anyway, but a lot of the issues that people campaign on will never be solved, whether it be weed, whether it be immigration, whether it be... Pretty much the only one is the assault weapons, which is kind of its own thing, obviously, and people are going to blame it on this. But assault weapons is one of the few things that you can actually make legal, as you can see, and still be a campaign issue. It's gone on forever, and there's stats on both sides saying this and that, but weed will never be legalized unless Trump does it. But if he don't do it, I can just say that it's going to be something that goes back and forth, and people will just decriminalize it in their cities and states and all that. But the immigration issue could have been fixed decades ago if they make the pathway to citizenship better People say Biden did this and this and this. He didn't do anything to like that. He really didn't. And he's keeping people out, but he's not helping anything. Congress isn't passing any laws making the pathway to citizenship any easier. They're just not. Because if they did, then they'd have nothing to bitch or complain to each other about. That's just fact.
Killing, quote, children of innocent civilians would bring, quote, the most.
Tewavu, hey homie, your content. Yeah, bro. I appreciate again the hustle. You're like the fourth person to say that just in the past 10 minutes that I've been on.
Most joy. Westman, who died at the scene of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a handgun.
And apparently he used all three of them. Oh boy, Megyn Kelly, let's... Okay, now this is just terrible. I'm going to.
And as we continue to monitor the scene there in Minneapolis, we are hearing directly from eyewitnesses. Clarissa Garcia is a student who attends Annunciation Catholic School, and she was inside that church when shots rang out. Here's what she told our Minneapolis affiliate about what she witnessed.
Young lady, we hear you were right next to the kid that got popped. Your thoughts?
I was just at church, and I heard something like really loud, like I thought it was fireworks in the church, and then I saw the shooting, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And so a teacher lead.
Look, two people are interviewed, people who were too shocked to say no, and look at this, just like, honey, just like we rehearsed. Come on, go ahead. Look. Not saying anything negative about this kid, but most of the people who do interviews after these things, they're just chasing clout. I'm sorry. Like, it's very sad that this happened to this little girl. But don't interview kids after a shooting. That's probably the worst thing to do after some shit like this. No, it is. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. And as we all want to know, what does Megyn Kelly think about this?
We are learning more about the shooter. He is said to have entered or at least approached the back of the church from the outside with both, according to the authorities, a rifle and a handgun, and opened fire through the glass windows on the children inside. Obviously,
look, stop filleting yourself right here, Megyn Kelly. Like, lover or hater. Come on. This way. No BS, no agenda, no fear. We all know the middle one's a lie.
Shooting more than just children there. As you heard, at least 2 adult victims were brought to that hospital alone. We believe that there were as many as 20 victims total. The numbers have changed a bit, as they obviously will continue to once the authorities get their arms around exactly who was hit and what hospitals they went to. We'll get a final number. This man was busy posting on his social media this morning. It appears to have populated on his YouTube feed, which has now been taken down, but we got there before it was, during what would have been the time of the shooting. But obviously, we have a large YouTube presence, and you generally schedule your shows, your posts to appear when you want them to. You know, it's not that my executive producer is sitting there at 5 o'clock when he presses publish on YouTube. He sets the show to publish.
Hold on, side tangent. Guys, the nose ring's not what you have to worry about here. So, right scope, what's wrong with you? It's them eyebrows. Ladies, please. Jesus.
At the time that it publishes every day, and that's very possible. In any event, we have confirmed his name. It's not important. You don't need to know his name, and they've taken down his social media anyway, but we're going to show it to you. And this does appear to be somebody who was experiencing some sort of gender dysphoria. He has long red hair. He's very unattractive, which is not surprising. And he's, among other things, posted an LGBTQ flag. Next to it, he wrote, "Defend equality." Here is the notebook where he has "Defend equality" on top of a pride flag there. That's not the only thing. There is clearly a desire. There's another phrase, by the way, in his writings. Why so queer us? A lot of this doesn't make sense, but why so queer? Queer.
Obviously trying to see. This is why I'm saying this is an orgy of evidence. This can't be real. That's clearly the Heath Ledger Joker line. Why so serious? Why so queer as
are like queer us. And then there are writings over.
Like if you found this dude's writings and he hadn't killed somebody, you would have like smacked the shit out of him. Like just been like, this is the worst thing ever. You'll never live up to your dreams of being a school shooter.
Guns and over the magazines that one would insert in a gun that have a number of obvious.
Everyone knows what a magazine is. You don't have to say insert into a gun, Megyn Kelly.
Possible motives that are referenced,
Sorry, can you tell I'm not a huge fan?
target. Hold on, I'm trying to read my own writing.
You're a journalist.
Where is your God? Extra Jew gas. Israel must fall. Kill Donald Trump. R.I.P. and tear, T-E-A-R. Maybe it's tear. I don't know what that means. Humanity is overrated. Nothing ever happens.
I agree with that one. And,
so he's clearly
too much happens.
Focused on, looks like, those who believe in God. He's got another, like a target you would use and shoot at during target practice, which has a picture of Jesus Christ.
The way she said that made it sound like she was reacting to it more so telling us. But
now it's starting to make some sense.
Is it?
The target he chose, what was on his mind. I think I mentioned one of the right.
What don't make any sense is, do you see any holes in this? It's just a picture. That makes me think that it has to be a plant or something. As far as this goes, like I'm not saying like Alex Jones shit to where I don't think the shooting happened, but the evidence, the stuff left behind, this is all a performance for this person. Like, there's no holes in this. First of all, this person's from a city, clearly. Where would they have had time to shoot? Like, this is stupid.
I think I mentioned one of the writings on either the guns or the ammos read, fuck everything, that, and then the next word is cut off. The beginning of it is stand, like maybe the word was stands. We can only see S-T-A-N, F everything, that's Stan. And that's about all we've seen thus far, though we're going through it because we did manage to capture the 2 YouTube videos that he posted before YouTube took them down, which is probably another indicator that, I mean, I've confirmed the name of the shooter, and this is the shooter's YouTube page. Potentially there's another person by this name that is also obsessed with guns and killing children and pictures of Jesus and targets, but I'm going to go out there and say the odds are slim. Joining me now to discuss it all, Chad Ayers, founder of Proactive Response Group. Proactive Response Group's founders are well-trained veteran SWAT team leaders with firsthand experience in hostage rescues and high-risk dignitary protection. And Joe Loras, retired police officer who is currently running for U.S. Congress in Tennessee to replace Mark Green. Gentlemen, thank you both so much.
Oh, and let's see. Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks posted, the shooter in Minneapolis was a trans neo-Nazi. That's a new one. And hated Trump. This is a category I didn't even realize existed. Hates Israel and Muslims, and then shoots up a Christian church. Of all the psychopaths, spell check there, Cenk, who become mass shooters or terrorists, this might be the strangest one. I completely agree. I don't agree with Cenk that much anymore. He has had some more like the Cenk that I grew up with, well, as a young adult, when I was about the age of this shooter, which is probably not a good idea to compare myself to, but I used to listen to the Young Turks all the time. And this is, he's been starting to get more like he used to be. The man who massacred 77 people in Norway. Huh. Look, right here. You led with trans as if this was identifying because his maleness, his Nazism. He literally said everything that this person was. People online like this Pastor Ben person, you're insane. Just because of the identifying word that he said first. Who cares? You could have just as easily said it doesn't sound the same if you say neo-Nazi trans. You know what I'm saying? Trans neo-Nazi. It feels like it belongs that way first, but you could have said, I get maybe a Trump-hating trans. I guess 2 T's makes it sound better. Does that make you feel better, Pastor Ben? Like, all this stuff is nuts. Bullshit, fucking liar. He hated Israel. I mean, I haven't seen anything saying that he hated Muslims. We'll get back to this thing. I've seen a lot on this. I'm just clicking on stuff I haven't clicked on before to try to get a reaction with you. But good Lord, of all the people, is that other shooters? Hold on. Ugh. Okay. I mean, if this is all one thought, then yeah, I can maybe, or maybe that's a signature. I don't know. I can't really see a trans person being Muslim, but like X is just crazy. It's not as crazy as it was when it was. Okay, David, you are also a lunatic as well. This person trying to pass him. No, having long hair does not equal trans. Change your name to Robin, even though Robin can be But look. The person was mentally ill. That's the important thing. Yes, conservatives focus too heavily on trans, but when you go the opposite way on this, it's a detriment to your cause. Like, I get it, you're trying to stand up and, people that you identify with or whatever, but if you completely deny anything and try to go the exact opposite route and saying that this person was not mentally ill or this person was not trans, all it's going to look like is that you're trying to cover for things. Just stop it. Also, got me. But anyway, sorry. I've been obsessed with X lately.
Much for being here. So let me start with you on it, Chad, because I mean, this is a situation, we only wish it had turned into a hostage situation where there could have been negotiation before the killing took place. But in this instance, like so many others, the shooter showed up and just started firing on defenseless targets. And now it appears he did seem intent on targeting this type of group. I mean, again, a target practice with a picture of Jesus. Where is your God? I guess like trying to test, right? If God would be there. I don't know what the specific motivations were, but as I said at the top of our last hour, it does matter, but it's secondary. What appears to have driven this is a sick mind, a very sick mind. Your thoughts?
I totally agree with you, Megan, and thanks for having me again. I want to second what you say. My heart breaks for these families who are going through this today. Obviously, this investigation is going to play out at Proactive Response Group. This is what we do. I am sitting in a school right now, training a school on how do you handle active shooter events. We were at a church. I know that you're a lifelong devout Catholic, and I can't imagine sitting in that pew and this taking place, and all of a sudden the worst case scenario happens. And so I'm not here today, obviously, to Monday morning quarterback
not even the worst case scenario. Who the hell even thought of that scenario?
Victims. But obviously it is time that we start evaluating. I was talking to Joe earlier, evaluating how we are training. Are we giving valuable, effective training on this type of situation? Because we cannot take a reactive approach. Megan, over the last month, we have seen such an increase of events like this, active shooter events. And it's time we stop checking the box on this type of training and start providing valuable, effective training, especially for our most precious that are sitting there trying to have time to worship their God and pray and meditate, en masse, and the worst case scenario happens.
Yeah. Joe, I mean, look, this guy, we're going to figure out exactly what was driving him. I mean, we haven't seen one of these school shootings where the shooter wasn't on some sort of meds. 9 times out of 10, an SSRI meant to attack depression, but obviously not helping. I don't know what this guy's story is going to be, but I'm not surprised to see the trans ideology. We saw that in Nashville, Tennessee, too. And the FBI kept that secret from us. Joe Biden's FBI kept that secret from us for a year, saying we couldn't handle it. It was, okay, we can handle it. We need to know what sort of medical cocktail was this person on, if any, and the motivations that were like the tipping, point. We'll look at that. But obviously, this guy had some sort of a break. And unfortunately, the target today was Catholic children. So I don't even know where you begin other than to get a bunch of cops out there, retired cops with guns. Your thoughts on it?
Megan, thanks for having me. I couldn't agree with you more. These delusional people are attacking our most vulnerable. Minneapolis, Minnesota as a whole, has universal background checks. They have to have permits to purchase weapons, guns, shotguns, anything. Where was that? This is exactly why I'm running for Congress. This is exactly the problem that we have here in the United States. These soft on crime, defund the police. This is what happens. And I'm a father, and it scares me every day when I drop my daughter off at school, because could this be the day? And this is not the America that we should live in. This is not the America that I fought and bled for and buried my friends. Now, I'm with Chad. We need to be more proactive and call it what it is. This is delusion. Yes. The left is catering to this, and this is the outcome. And we see that in all of this politics as, all this hate that's going on because our country is so divided. We need to come together as Americans and remember what's important and protect our most precious resources, which is our children.
What will the effect of the sparring?
Oh, for the love of okay, I didn't know there was going to be an ad right there. But no, and I love how he says the other side is bad. We all need to come together. There are things that both sides do that are bad. Just because more recently one side's doing more shootings than others doesn't mean it's all on them. But right now you have people who are getting upset because they're misgendering the people online, and then you have people like Pastor Ben who are saying it's got nothing to do with that. We're splitting hairs over things that don't really matter. A delusional person snapped, went on a rampage, people died. That's the most important thing to focus on. There's a mental health crisis in this country. It's pretty much worldwide, especially in the Western world anymore, because you don't see a lot of mental illness like this in other than probably Japan, any more modernized civilization. Well, I mean, Japan is modern. Look, I don't know what I'm saying. Just if you need help, make sure you get the help. Be very careful as you go through the medication process. Some medications can make things worse. Just make sure that you keep on it. Don't ever be ashamed to make yourself better, whether it be medical, seeing a psychiatrist, whatever it has to be done. But where is my mouse? There you are. But it's just crazy. I didn't expect for this to be such a serious show today. It's not usually my style, but this happened yesterday, and I wanted to see a few more things on it, and it's just tragic. But above all else, just be nice to people. I don't care what side of the thing you're on. If you're on the left, if you're on the right. Look, people are different, and if people aren't into the things that you're into, just don't hang out with that person. Don't shame them. Don't make them feel inferior. And definitely don't do anything to make people think that you're superior. That's because that's a whole other level. But just whether you're left or right, trans, whatever. Just if people don't like you, why do you even want to hang out with those people? Especially the ones who say things like, it's not my job to educate you. If you're not ready to educate someone on your situation and why you feel that you need to have different pronouns and such, just either educate that person or just don't bother with them. Because you clearly don't have the time for them anyway, so why do you care so much about what they think? There is no trans genocide. I've heard that too. there's a trans genocide happening. It's mostly caused through suicide, and it's very sad. But that's got nothing to do with anyone else. Unless people are bullying you and punishing you for being who you are, just stay away from them. There's enough of you to where you can have happy days and not even have to worry about any of the jerks who don't like you. And the same thing on the other side. I understand that there's a lot of kids literature and there's, pride parades where a lot of really gross things are happening out in the public and nobody says anything because they don't want to. But other than that, let gay people do their thing. Let trans people do their thing. If it starts to spill out into the streets like that in the daytime where there's graphic sexual stuff happening, then say something. And people who are defending it, just listen. And, we can adjust accordingly. Because if you let that kind of thing happen, then people are going to start to not like your cause and start to want to impose things on you. And nobody wants that. Live and let live. That's the most important thing. And that's it. But I'm going to get off my soapbox for here. That's it for today's show, unfortunately. I meant to do it longer, but I got a late start this morning. But we'll be back tomorrow morning with whatever happens for the rest of today. I've been bearing in mind the associated guess, and this is Yesterday Today. Y'all have a great one. Until next time, take care of yourself.